Okay, so again, please welcome the players from the Toronto Six. We have Mikyla Grant-Mentis and Sam Ridgewell and Emma Woods. And I'll turn it over to you guys. Thank you.
Take it away, Sam.
Just tell like the last couple teams we played for and stuff like that. Start with that. So I grew up like playing small town hockey. I won't really get into that part too much, but it eventually led me to a scholarship at Merrimack College, where I got to play with this girl. Thankfully, she's on my team and not scoring against me this time. But yeah, so I was at Merrimack College down by Boston for 4 years. And then I got the privilege of going over and playing in Sweden. It was called the SDHL. I was playing with you, Gordon. So I got 1 season over there. And then now I ended up with Toronto on the Canadian team. So I'm excited and happy to be here.
Alrighty, I guess I can go next. My name is Mikyla Grant-Mentis. Everyone calls me Bucky though. Any of you care? I don't know. I play in Toronto. Previously played for like the Arrows, the Chiefs, Etobicoke. I was all over the place, unfortunately. Then I went 4 years at Merrimack as well. I just graduated last year, like whenever school ended. I don't even know where we are right now, but I just graduated and now playing for Toronto 6. Yeah.
I'm a 95, so I'm a couple years older, so I have a couple more years. But I grew up in Burford, Ontario. Probably you guys haven't even heard of that, but small town, and I played boys hockey with my brother until I was in Bantam, and then I switched over to girls and started traveling a bit, and then I played 2 years in the PWHL before college. I played 1 year with Kitchener and then 1 year with Cambridge. The first year, the Rivulets. And then from there, I went and played 4 years. Then from there, yep.
I think you cut out. I don't know if you cut out for other people, but we didn't hear that part. So maybe say that part again about college.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Is it fine?
Yep.
Yeah. So I went and I played 4 years at Quinnipiac University. So I played there, and then from there I went and I played 2 years in the Canadian Women's Hockey League before the league folded, and I actually played in China for those 2 years. So my team was based in China. I know it's a kind of a weird concept, but we played in the Canadian League, and then from there last year I played a season in Sweden, same as Sam. I played for Leksand, Sweden. And then, yeah, here I am. So I got recruited to play for Toronto, and I think this is my first season in about 7 seasons where I'm playing on a Canadian team. So it's kind of cool for me. I know we're not really going to be playing any home games in Canada, but it's still just as good. So it's kind of my story.
Can you talk a little bit about the team and the league? So the Toronto Six is the newest entry in the NWHL, which is the National Women's Hockey League, that's in their 6th season. So the Six is a brand new team. The season kind of got canceled, sort of, but it's been now set up as a tournament that's being played in Lake Placid. So I guess first, maybe if you could talk a little bit about the league and the team.
Yeah, so obviously the 3 of us are pretty lucky to be on the team in its first season. I'm sure a lot of us were kind of unsure of it at the start, just because any team in its first season, you have some questions. But honestly, like, we have unbelievable staff, and they recruited an amazing group of players. So we have a good team, and then we were excited for our season. And then, as you guys are all fully aware of, COVID hit, and our season kind of got changed a bit, and we were lucky that they were able to plan a bubble season similar to what the NHL is doing, just a lot more condensed. It's about, I think, 2 weeks in Lake Placid, and we leave next Thursday to go there. So I think it's set up like if we make it to the championship game, we'll play something like 10 games in 14 days. So it's kind of crazy. But it's a lot of hockey, but we're just lucky to be playing, and so we get to do that. And obviously, yeah, we're the only Canadian team in the league. This is like Bob said, this is the 6th year of the National Women's Hockey League, and every single year it gets better and better. And so we joined in the 6th season, and here we are. So I don't know if you guys want to add anything, but it's kind of the Toronto Six story.
So where can you watch, like if they wanted to watch the tournament, where's it being shown?
It'll all be on.
I think it's on
Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch. So yeah, it's like online.
And it's free, I think.
Yep, it's free.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that we send a link around so that you guys can watch the games and the finals. This is for the U.S. only, but it's actually going to be on NBCSN. So it's a pretty big deal. They're going to be broadcast on NBC. So can you talk a bit about coaching some of your fellow players on the team? Tell us a bit about the team.
Sure. I think the team is pretty stacked, honestly. I am the youngest player. I just graduated, so I am the youngest player, unfortunately.
She gets stuck doing the team cheer and she hates it.
It's the worst part. If you're like July birthday, just hope for the best that someone's after you. But yeah, we have a couple of older players that are more experienced than me, obviously, because I just graduated. Our goalies are awesome. Thanks. Sam and Julie. And honestly, our coaches are like probably the best coaches I've had since I've started playing hockey. They're so like lenient with whatever we want to do, basically, as long as we don't mess up, then we're good. But yeah, overall, I think we have a pretty stacked team with a lot of depth from forwards to deep.
I think our coach made a comment the other day that this is the deepest team she's ever coached, and she's been coaching for like
too long,
45 years.
Yeah, a long time.
She coached at Brown University. Our head coach is Digit Murphy. I don't know if you guys follow the Toronto Six on Instagram, but if you do, you'll get to know Digit pretty quickly. She is super outgoing, is constantly taking, I'm not kidding, like she's constantly taking like selfie videos on the ice, like in the middle of a practice, and she's like 60. Like she just turned 60. Oh my God. She's so funny, but she coached, she played actually at Cornell University. Like she was like a true pioneer, like one of the first.
Isn't there an award at Cornell named after her? Like I think
I can't confirm that, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah. She's one of the winningest coaches in American college history.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she coached Brown University in their prime. And then she's coached the Boston Blades. She was my general manager, but also coached in China when I was there. And then, yeah, so she's been, and then she does a million other things. She has a podcast and so she's a lot of fun and we're pretty lucky to have her.
Yeah,
you guys should follow the Toronto Six on Instagram. It's pretty entertaining. Actually, they're pretty good.
The socials are really good.
Yeah, they are.
We'll have to go look at the latest video they did. They like reenacted scenes from the Miracle movie because we're going to Lake Placid.
Yeah. I actually brought it to play to you, and I asked Danny if anybody would get the joke, and she wasn't sure everybody would.
Well, you'll have to go
you
watch.
Might be too young.
And follow us.
Yeah, we'll send you the links.
So when we're in Lake Placid, I guess I should say this. We're going to Lake Placid. And that's where like the Olympics were playing, like where they played in the Olympics and everything like that. The big US Russia game. If you guys have ever seen Miracle, Herb Brooks. Anyway, that's where our season is happening. So that kind of makes it a little extra special.
Yeah, it's the Miracle on Ice rink, and the Disney film Miracle is based on that. Yeah. This is the actual rink. So we were sent some questions from you. And you're welcome to ask more questions, but we're just going to start the discussion with what you sent. So first question was, what were the most important lessons in your experience that you got along the way?
Like in
I think the biggest one, yeah, like all along the way, I guess, as a hockey player.
Yeah, go Emma.
Work hard. I think that's my biggest one. Like always like strive to be the hardest working player on the ice. I think that kind of will probably lead into other questions, but like that's something coaches and teammates always like I think respect and look for is like who's working hard and like putting their all out there. And I think to go along with that, like be a good teammate. I think those are my two biggest ones that I would say. Like I think not only are you like a hockey player and a good teammate in that situation, but also like these girls, like you guys probably already know this, but like those girls you play with, no matter where you are at in your hockey career, like that's like lifelong friendships. So I think the best thing you can be a good teammate, and like not only is that going to get you far in hockey, but it's going to get you far in life because you connect with so many people through hockey, and that's like I think the best thing about it. You guys can add to that.
I would say the biggest lesson that I learned was like how important it is to really like stay positive and kind of like play the long game. Like don't dwell on like a single goal or like one bad game. Kind of like, especially in college, like you had 4 years. Like one game wasn't going to make or break your college experience. And like looking back now, like the seasons that I had the most fun was when I was able to just like if I had a bad goal go in, like I was able to just kind of like laugh it off a little bit and bounce back quickly. And then like overall that entire season was a lot more fun and more positive. And then like in return, like that ended up being my best season stats wise and like game wise too. So it's really important to stay positive and have fun.
Yep. Definitely have fun. That's the best thing. I'm always having fun. Sometimes a little bit too much fun, but that's okay.
Not when you have Digit Murphy as a coach.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Never too much fun.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you it's not.
So this question is, what was the most frustrating for you and how did you overcome obstacles? So I'd say maybe pick one, maybe before we do that, maybe let's talk about goals because you can't really have an obstacle if you're not going anywhere. So when you got, how old were you maybe when you decided, this is what I want to do, or did you ever decide it's what you wanted to do and things just kept moving forward, or how did that go? And then we'll talk about obstacles afterwards.
I'll start short. I would say probably around like this age, once I switched out of boys hockey, so like 12, 13, I was like, there was really nothing for women's hockey at that point. So it's like you had to go to college or you quit after your junior year. So I pretty much set the path on just going to college. It didn't matter which college I went to either. I just wanted to play hockey after my junior year. And then I set that goal and I reached the goal and I was like, oh, perfect. What do I do next? And then I got to college. And then after college, I was like, okay, now I need to do something else because I don't want to stop playing. And then I ended up here. So you just keep kicking on those goals and then I'm sure you'll get somewhere.
Yeah, mine. I actually remember, I think I was like maybe in grade 8 or grade 9 and like this Wisconsin hockey package or like Wisconsin school got like mailed to our house and I kind of like showed my parents and like laughed and I was like, like whatever. And I'm like, we tossed it aside because like I didn't really think that far ahead, like as a grade 8 or grade 9, like I didn't really have anybody telling me to think college. And then like years down the road after I'd already committed to Merrimack, I ended up finding that pamphlet and we kind of had a good laugh about it. Just like going from like, oh, just tossing it aside to having a pretty successful college career. So I was lucky that I had people eventually come along and push me to I guess make the jump to teams that were gonna help me get seen by colleges and stuff like that. But it probably wasn't until like grade 10 when I went to play AAA, which we called it AAA in Saskatchewan, that I really kind of thought that college was a real possibility. But I'm glad it was.
Yeah, I think you kind of like find your goals just by improving your game. Like maybe whether it's going from the C team to the B team and up, you know what I mean? Like each time you're improving, you kind of can set a new goal for yourself. It doesn't have to be huge, but it's just getting to that next step. And I think that's kind of what took us to college and beyond, is just because, you set these small goals for yourself and you surround yourself with good hockey players and then you want the next thing. And I mean, I'm sure all you guys are competitive, but like as hockey players, we're all pretty competitive just by nature. So you know what I mean? So you always want more and you expect more of yourself. And that's kind of like how I got to where I am too. Like I played boys hockey, and then you get to a point where you want to, you know, see how you compare to the girls. Then you start doing that. And then, oh, I didn't even know that there was such thing as a PWHL because I grew up in Burford, you know? So I went and I started playing in Brantford, and then I found out about that next step. And then I took that next step, and then from there, college and stuff like that. But I think for me, like Hockey Canada too, like even aside from like your leagues, like you have those goals of Team Ontario or Hockey Canada, and I think those are good to have too. I never got recruited by Hockey Canada. I think that was probably how I'd answer like my biggest like frustration, or if that was the question.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest hurdle, is just like getting over that like realization, you know what I mean? Like not every, like there's only how many players on hockey on Team Canada, like that's not just going to happen for everyone, but you have that expectation. And for me, like that was always something as a kid that I wanted, so I never forgot about that. But then you kind of realize like why you play the game, and I think that's what changed for me. Like I realized that when I was in college and now playing professional, that there's so much more to the game than, like, obviously Hockey Canada is amazing and Team Canada and all that stuff, but there's more to it than that. And I guess I realized like why I play hockey. It's because it's what I love to do, and the people I meet, and where it's taken me, and like honestly on this planet even. So I think that's kind of how I overcame that, just by kind of seeing it in a different perspective.
Yeah, because I mean, there's still not a lot of professional women's hockey players who you know play hockey for a living, and you have accomplished that. The three of you have accomplished that, which is, it's great to to be able to see that. So obstacles, I guess we'll ask Mikyla and Sam. I keep trying to overpronounce your name. I'm sorry. Yeah, what obstacles did you encounter?
Mine's pretty much the same as Emma's. I would say, like, I didn't even make Team Ontario, like nothing, not even to the camps. Like,
I'm just kidding.
wow.
And can I say something? She is probably the most natural goal scorer on our team, and she did not make Team Ontario. So if any of you guys encounter that, or if that's a goal you have and you don't reach it,
It's okay.
It's okay.
just don't give up, because
You can still have.
I'm not kidding when I say that.
college
Yeah.
career.
If you didn't see the email I sent out, you were the all-time leading scorer in your program, and player of the week in the NWHL. Like, I don't know, after playing 2 games or something as a rookie. Like, that's crazy. So
Yeah,
yeah.
he got the playoffs and scored goals.
Yeah.
I remember watching.
Yeah, so moral to the story, if you don't make Team Ontario, even the camps or like Team Canada, it's just like, I just kind of got over it at that point. Like, I was more focused on like the people I was meeting, I would say. And like I have way too many friends from all like the teams I've played for, and I jumped around a lot. That's okay as well. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think I'm still a good hockey player, even though I didn't make any of those teams. And I probably was better at this point in college, whereas some players that did make that team were at their peak at that point and then kind of went downhill. So I guess it was good for me. I'm not sure though. We'll see.
Actually, on that point too, like I kind of forgot about it. It's been so long, but I made Team Sask my grade 10 and 11 year, but then I got cut my grade 12 year, which like was a pretty big shock, and I was pretty disappointed because I mean I thought I was kind of a shoe-in because I'd like earned my spot. But the fact that I had like forgotten about it because I still was able to go to college and play a couple years of pro hockey, like it kind of shows, like looking back, how small it really is in the long term thing. Like, I mean, all of us got cut from our provincial teams, but we're all still here.
I don't know about Emma.
And I thought she said she didn't make Team Ontario.
I play Team Ontario.
Ah, there you go. Sorry.
Almost silent. Yeah, what they said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, maybe this is worth bringing up. I'm not sure, but like the politics of women's hockey, is it is it a thing? Is it a thing you concern yourself with, or is it just I'm going to be better every day and we'll see what happens? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think you can work yourself up with that kind of stuff. I mean, you kind of have to get to a point where it's just kind of no excuses. Like, kind of control what you can control, and whatever happens. Like, that stuff I think exists everywhere, but it's out of our control no matter what, if it's existing or not. So kind of just focus on your own game, and the rest will just take care of itself.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's really.
So that's a good segue to the people that helped you along the way, your mentors, the people that taught you, how to be a good pro, people like that.
Yeah. Digit. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. For my mentors, like, I would say all my coaches. Like, I think every single one of my coaches, in one aspect or another, has had a great influence on me in my hockey career, and has been a mentor. I think once you guys will realize, like, probably even at this level, but all levels of hockey, they're not just your coach, but they want to, like, help you become better people. And I think that's, it's obviously more than just hockey, but I think that's why they were my mentors. I think aside from that, like, my family, my dad, they have always pushed me to be better, and have always had a high expectation for me, and at the same time have always been my biggest fans. So yeah. Girls?
Yeah, like mine's like all of my family, but more specifically my grandpa. He was kind of I always thought he was like my good luck charm. I'd always have my best games whenever he was in the stands or watching online. But he was just somebody that, like, if I didn't have a good game, like, I could just call and chat and talk hockey, because he's also a hockey scout in the WHL. So, like, he knows what he's talking about. So I like bouncing stuff off of him. And then, yeah, like Emma said, coaches, you kind of have to give credit to all your coaches, because they all taught you like a different, different, like, not, I don't want to say version. What's the word I'm trying to say? Like, they bring like different tools in your toolbox, kind of like, yeah. But I think the coach that's had the most impact on me was my goalie coach that I had senior year. His name was Chris Hall at Merrimack. He definitely just brought out the best in me as a person and as a goalie. And I loved working with him, and he made it so fun. And even to this day, like, he would do video with me of my Sweden games. And, like, we've been doing video even with Toronto, like, we're going to do some practice film video tomorrow. And, like, he's more mentoring me how to be a good goalie coach too. So he's definitely poured a lot into me.
Yeah, I would say my family as well. Like, I have 2 brothers pretty close in age. One's my twin, so, like, obviously I had to be better than them. So
Hockey, I didn't know you had a twin.
Yeah, you have one too.
I have a twin brother.
Yeah, so I always had to be better than them, obviously. So even though they were better than me when we were younger, but now I think I've officially beaten them in the hockey-wise part. But they always pushed me. Like, my twin would always come out to Merrimack to watch me, and, like, even Vermont, like, he would come. When I asked him to come, he would come, and, like, my mom would be down every weekend to watch, and so would my dad. And then I would think, like, other mentors other than what these 2 said were, like, my teammates, really. Like, I think they're the ones that actually kept me playing hockey this whole time, because the relationships I made with them were just, like, so fun and exciting that I didn't want to leave them specifically. But yeah, that's who I said would get me through hockey.
Nice. So recruiters at the colleges, what skills and talents do you think they're looking for, is a question that came up here. What are they looking for?
You guys might think differently, but I personally think when you get to that level, like, it's kind of a total package thing. Like, I think you need to make sure you're just well-rounded as a player. Obviously, you guys know all the hockey skills, shooting, skating, those are huge, passing, handling the puck, but all those things are obviously super important. But I think in addition to that, I think they look a lot for good people, good character, and leaders. Like, you know, you guys don't realize how much like they're looking for that stuff, but they are, like, they're watching you off the ice just as much as they're watching you on the ice. I think coaches at any level will probably say that, but just make sure you guys are aware of that no matter where you are. If you're at a tournament even, that's where they're hanging around, and like that's the kind of stuff they're watching for, because they want to make sure they're recruiting good hockey players, but also just really good people.
And they do kind of have like eyes and ears everywhere. So like even at practice, when like you think nobody's there, like some coach might have asked somebody to check you out. Like you really don't know. So like you kind of always want to be giving it your all every single time. And like talking to Halsey, the coach that from Merrimack, I know attitude and like your personality is huge. Just being positive. So like he bases a lot of it off of like a phone call. And like if you'll be a good fit for the team that they're trying to make off the ice as well, because that's huge too. If you don't have good chemistry off the ice, it's not going to go too well on the ice, even if you have the 20 best hockey players in the world. So I think your attitude is a lot about recruiting as well.
Yeah. Can you share stories of like a specific story you can maybe think of, or something you heard or something you saw where somebody kind of was a good example of what not to do, and then another example of somebody doing something that's like, yeah, someone would see that and think, hey, you're all right?
Honestly, I could probably use myself as an example. It's not I promise I've gotten better over the years, but like I didn't commit to Merrimack till like very, very late, like I don't know, end of grade 11, so like almost grade 12. So it's like pretty late to commit, which is not a problem either. Take your time.
Grade 12, so it's all good.
Take your time when you're choosing your school. But yeah, like when I was in grade 9 and 10, like I wasn't a hothead, but I thought I was like the best because my teams always won and everything. So like when we started losing, like my body language on the ice was the worst possible, like disgusting. And when coaches started to like contact me and stuff, like that's what they would say to my coaches, because they can only call your coaches. They would say, well, like her body language is very bad. Like, is she a good player on the ice? Yes, she's a good player on the ice, but like the body language can take away from like how good she is off the ice and stuff, and like how she can gel with teams. And I did fix it. Don't worry, guys. I got better at it. So then like as I worked on that, then like more schools started to notice me, and I don't know, I use myself as a bad example all the time. So but it does get easier as long as you but get better at the things that people tell you that you're not doing right, and you can take it with like a good heart. Don't get mad about it and just move on and move past it and just keep going. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like two more actually. That was wonderful. Can Sam and Emma, have you got examples you can think of?
I have an example of like a story that I heard at a recruiting showcase type thing. One of the coaches that was there, I can't remember exactly who it was. It was a long time ago. It was either Wisconsin or North Dakota. And he said like his advice to us was to be bold and like to be self-promoters and like don't wait for coaches to reach out to you, like reach out to them. And he said that he in his like coaching career, he had only ever had like 2 or 3 kids like pick up the phone, find his phone number and like call and like just introduce themselves that way. And he said like every time he like offered them a spot because they were like, wow, like good for you. I mean, he obviously like fact checked and made sure that they were good hockey players, but like he just appreciated them reaching out and being bold that much that yeah, they were worth it. So don't wait around until your grade 12 year to hope that coaches are gonna like find you. Like just start. All it is a simple email, just so that they can start watching you and like send them your schedule or something so that they know where to watch and where to find you. But don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah. She's looking at us.
Yeah, I think kind of another thing that I can add is just in terms of like having like there's things that maybe will get you maybe unnoticed, but there's also things like small things you can do on and off the ice to get you noticed. Like the girls were saying, but even small things like giving your teammates like a fist pump, like after they even had a tough shift or a good shift. Like at the end of the game, like hold your head up high if you win or lose, even like honestly small things like cleaning up after yourself, like in public, like if you're at a tournament, or like holding the door for someone. Like honestly, girls, like when they're watching, like we mean they're watching. Like small tiny things, like saying, like honestly just being like polite, like they notice that stuff. So make sure it's not all just about hockey, but like make sure you're, you have your character in check and you have a good positive attitude all the time.
And make sure it's genuine too, right? Like you don't want to be like fake and over the top about it all, but yeah, just be a genuinely good person and they notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So COVID, I guess just there was a COVID question here about pivoting and the restrictions. I know right now you've got a professional exemption, so you can actually go practice. These girls can't. What do you suggest?
Use whatever you've got, whatever you guys have, and it might not be much, but like use it. If you guys have a net and a stick, use it. If you guys have a puck, stick handle, I don't know, like get creative, play mini sticks with your brothers. watch game clips of watch the NHL, like even that kind of stuff helps. It doesn't need to be physically doing it, but like mentally kind of tune in and use this time to maybe, expand a different part of your game, the mental side of your game, things like that. Network yourself. Use this time to network yourself. Reach out to people, coaches, stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I would also say like stay active also. When quarantine started, I kind of took like a whole halt and just stopped doing anything because everyone was doing that, and then realized that, oh snap, like our season was supposed to start, so like we were going to start practicing and I had to like do something. So just like body weight workouts are the same as lifting, I don't know, 100 pounds too. So just stay active.
So does anybody have a question that you would like to ask? And please feel free to unmute yourself, and or if you all want to unmute yourselves and just have a conversation, we'll see how that goes. If you want to do that. Do you want to do that? Raise your hands if you should. Should I just unmute you guys and you can hang? Is that cool?
I like that idea.
All right, the pros want that. So let's see. Let's see. Ask all to unmute. All right, I'm hitting the button. There you go. Talk to us.
Yes. I have a question.
All right.
Join in.
I have a question. How do you feel like the six are bonding? Like, do you feel like if you're watching like
you want me in the video?
Do you feel like you should like kind of like trash talk them and have some fun with it and give them some tips, or do you feel just kind of like watch it, like like how do you feel like the team is bonding? That's the question. Sorry.
I always agree with trash talking. I think I chirp Bucky every single practice.
Go practice.
But it makes practice fun. Like it's all about making it fun.
Yeah, I think trash talking is big. As long as you're doing it to someone who's going to take it lightly, know who you're saying it to. But I think that's a great way. I think, just making jokes with teammates. I mean, obviously, you guys probably have this with some of your teammates or friends, but group chats, like especially with COVID, I feel like we're pretty active in our group chat. And I don't know.
I feel like the bond, it took a while to get into it because we were split up. So we started to bond in our two little smaller skills groups. And then eventually we started like mixing the groups up and got a few full team practices. And now you can really see us all coming together as a team. Just in time.
You got a goalie question,
Not me being put on the spot. But I mean, yeah. Do you have any tips?
Tips. It's a very generic question. Tips about like, give me a specific part of your game that you want to tip on, or
Well, like not moving too far on my glove side. Like I move too far over, and I'm like out of position.
so you struggle with your angles a little bit.
Yeah.
That'll come. Like I didn't like even today. Like I'm Bucky scores on me all the time because I'm off angle and she'll call me out for it. So your angles are never gonna be perfect, but that's just like a repetition type thing. And I found what helped me stay on angle a lot too was making sure I was like set and my feet were ready on the shot, because before I got that advice I was often like sliding into saves. So then like if I was sliding over and I wasn't set, if they paused for 1 second longer, like by the time they shot I was already a couple inches off or sometimes even more. So it's important to set your feet so that you are on as good of an angle as you can be.
Okay.
Sorry, hope that helps.
Good job. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but you handled it well.
Thank you.
So we could maybe, or maybe the team would like to ask you some questions. Might be a way to approach it too to get you talking.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So throughout quarantine, I've talked to like a lot of people, and I've realized that like a lot of people are finding it hard to like stay motivated, like especially like now that we can't race in a team setting and like we can't go and see our friends to work out with, or like we can't go to the gym. And I know before you said like use what you bought, but like how do you continue to stay motivated and like just be able to go do that thing?
I mean, the first thing that kind of pops into my head is like you can get like a Zoom workout buddy. Like it might be kind of cheesy, but even just having somebody on FaceTime just to motivate and even just listen to music to, at least like it holds yourselves like it holds you accountable to still go and do it if you have a set time. Or like, I don't know, like if you're stick handling or like shooting, like maybe you could make a game out of it with your teammates and stuff like that, or like a challenge. That is a tough question. There's other girls that I've heard that have been working out for a while now, and they're going on like their 7th or 8th month of off season. And I don't know if anybody really has like a great answer for it, because nobody's had to go through this ever. But if you are feeling a little unmotivated, like I think it is okay to like take it down a little bit. Like if you're really struggling, you can kind of take like a week of deload and stuff like that. Maybe just watch hockey for that week and just kind of get the love and the passion back for it. Yeah, maybe watching The Bubble will motivate you guys too.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's not something to like work yourself up about. If you're having a week where you feel unmotivated, then just let that be. But I think a good way to kind of get remotivated too is kind of set small goals for yourself. And your goals are going to look a lot different during these times, but it could even be something like you want to shoot X amount of pucks this week. You know what I mean? Or I want to do this many workouts, or I want to go on this many walks. Like it can be something as small as a walk with your dog. You know what I mean? Like just make sure you're staying active, and not just to stay in shape for hockey, but just I think probably just helps us all stay happy and healthy and stuff like that. But yeah, don't stress about it. You guys are young too. Like when you need to get back into it, I'm sure your bodies will let you. And I mean, we're in weird times. No one really knows what to do.
You could also try and track down like some of the game video maybe of you last year. Like maybe that would kind of light a fire, like game video of them playing themselves. Like watch.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If there's any out there, I'm not really sure, but I don't know. Might work. Yeah.
Anybody else? So okay, I got one more question maybe to finish off with, because we've been going for 45 minutes. This has been great. Can we maybe end with just a favorite hockey story from each of you, and then just a last thought for the team, and then we'll all go watch the Leafs, maybe, or the Canadians. Autumn, the Canadians.
I can hear someone screaming downstairs in my house. So I'm not gonna guess what's going on, but I feel I guess I could start. I think my favorite hockey memory would be my junior year in college. We won our first ever conference championship as a program, and I think that was really special. I mean, we had I honestly probably my favorite group of girls in my 4 years of college, and we all just bonded on kind of another level. And then for that to be the year that we won, that was like probably my special moment and favorite memory there. But I guess my last thing for you guys is put yourself out there. I think as hockey players, female hockey players, we all can be shy sometimes with, whether it's networking yourself, reaching out to a coach, but never be scared to reach out to someone, and whether that's even us, like someone like us, like you guys, maybe Bob can give you our emails, but if you guys ever need like advice or anything, like reach out to us, use us as a resource, use your coaches, use your teammates. That's why they're there. That's why we all play hockey. And then, like I said, work hard always, be a good teammate and have fun. It's kind of my last thing I could say.
Yeah, I can go. I would say my favorite hockey memory was my senior year. So she was still a part of it. But I'm not sure if you guys have heard much about Hockey East, but that for a couple years, actually all 4 years leading up to it, BC, so Boston College, was like the team to beat in our league. And we didn't beat them once. I think we had played them 12 times over my 4 years. We had come close, and we had come not very close either. But we ended up beating them 1-0, and just the feeling in the locker room after, there were some seniors on our team that actually cried. It felt like we won the championship. That's how much we wanted to beat them. And at the beginning of the season, our goal was to beat each team at least once, and we were a little skeptical because we were okay, that means we're gonna have to beat Boston College once to beat this to beat this goal, and we ended up doing it. And yeah, I'll never forget it. It was probably one of the best games, team games, and also that I don't want to sound cocky, but that I have played. So I always remember it and look back when I need a confidence booster as well. But yeah, it was a great memory.
For me, I don't know. I got a lot. No, I'm kidding. I would say my favorite hockey memory, my team last year went to Ireland. Not too sure why, but we had a friendship series in Ireland with Quinnipiac, and we lost both games, but it was still a great time. Overall, just traveling to a different country with the whole team was awesome. And then I'd say my other one, I got 100 points. It was kind of a fun time, and my senior year wasn't the best year. So, that was our first game we won that year. So it was pretty much it was just fun because we won our first game. I got 100 points. It was just a big party for everybody all at once. So that was pretty exciting. And just the people you meet, even now or in college when you get there, they will literally be your best friends forever. I still talk to people that I went to Merrimack with, and they live, one lives in Vancouver and one's in Quebec, all over the place. And we still catch up pretty much every day and stuff. And if you guys need anything, we're all on Instagram. You can send us a follow, or Toronto 6. Happy to help and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my story.
That's great. I was Digit asked if I would ask you if we could share your emails with the team so they can send you the newsletters and you can keep up. Is that okay? Can you wave at me if that's all right? Would you like to get the newsletter from the team? Is that okay?
You guys all have my email, so you can email me if you want it, and I'll forward it.
Thank you, Julie. And
You're welcome.
yeah, and I think maybe, if you want to turn your mics on and thank Emma and Sam and Mikyla for joining us for an hour tonight.
Also, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this so that we can maybe see if like our social girl wants to post it. So if everybody wants to smile, I'm gonna take a screenshot. Right there. Perfect.
That's great. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank
Stu.
you.
Thanks for having
Bob.
us.
Watch us in the bubble.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Oh,
Bye.
See you,
Thank you.
see you girls.
bye.
Thank you.